This is Oilersnation Radio, your one-stop shop for everything Oilers. 1 hour of straight hockey talk with Bagged Milk, Tyler, Liam, Rick, and Dan starts now.
Well, Lisa, the Edmonton Oilers are through to the Western Conference Final, so we'll see if we do an hour of hockey talk. Might get a little silly today. Maybe. We'll see. Gang's all here. Friday episode of Oilers Nation Radio. Plenty to celebrate, gentlemen.
We're in
Edmonton
the
Oilers
Finals.
through Vegas in 5 games. Won all 3 games in Vegas. Wonderful. When we had our episode on Tuesday, we hoped we would have a situation like today for Friday's episode. And we got here. And now the waiting game is on. Oilers were first through the conference finals. Carolina made it last night. Plenty to talk about around the NHL. But first, we're going to start off with the delicious debate for our friends at Odd Company. Go check them out at either Odd Company location here in Edmonton or at liquorconnect.com. Find Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Search it out. Find a liquor store near you that sells it. If they don't, ask them why. Perfect for the next big game. Next go-to lager. Find it at Odd Company Brewing. Nation Beer Everyday Lager. Long weekend. Might as well stock up. Tyler did.
I did.
Couple of flats. Flat. Oh, one flat.
One flat.
I'm doing 2 flats.
Wow. That'll get you through tonight.
24 tall boys of beer, Rick.
Yeah, you're going to remember everything you just had to do in order to get this whole podcast up and running right now.
Yeah.
Honestly,
that's at least 4 of them.
Yeah. If you're a listener and you're like, boy, Tyler didn't talk a lot today, it's because I'm fucking pissed off and checked out.
Taking you behind the scenes here, we are recording a handful of minutes late. Once again, our studio is broken.
For no reason.
Subscribe to our Patreon to find out why.
Yes. Also, by the time I went upstairs and got the 3rd camera, plugged it in, went to go open up the software, the 1st camera was just working again. I didn't touch it for fucking 15 minutes. And it just works.
One of our favorite things is watching Tyler battle the equipment before ONR.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like a weekly tradition at this point.
Only
Theories, Tyler?
His room's just fucking cursed.
Only somebody bit Liam's head off once during that time.
Only
trolling you.
Making a suggestion that would have worked.
Yeah,
what
Liam
would
said,
going upstairs have solved?
Everything would have fucking worked.
Dude,
how do you know?
We can't fit 4 people on our set.
Yes, we can.
I could have sat at the
We
board.
have a real life set.
We would have had to clean that whole desk off.
There's like 3 coffee cups on there. The camera doesn't work.
It would have taken way more time to get up there.
It was unwarranted yelling.
I didn't even raise my voice.
You did. You raised your hands to your heads. I saw them. And enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
I hate when mom and dad
I'm
fight.
sitting there unplugging shit for like 15 minutes.
I think we should go upstairs and record it now.
Should we go upstairs, Liam, you think?
I'll go downstairs.
I recommended going to the old studio at Little Brick.
Just go right into the basement.
Right in the basement.
Pass
the
one mic around.
Interrogation room. I think the snowball mic is still up there on the shelf.
Plop it in the middle of the table.
Yeah, that blue snowball.
Figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get there. Delicious debate for today, gentlemen. Now, Winnipeg won last night. Unless you guys want to fight some more.
I think we should talk more about the camera.
Yeah. Winnipeg won last night. Going into Dallas for game 6. That'll be tomorrow. Let's just have some fun. Let's assume they can push it to 7. Why not? They haven't won a game on the road, so seems unlikely. I got the odds for that in the betting segment. But the delicious debate for today is, if you could wave a magical wand to get anything you wanted, Tyler, who you playing, the Stars or the Jets, and why?
Jets. I like the idea of playing a Canadian team. Edmonton does well in those situations. Vancouver, Calgary. I like playing the Jets. I think their forward group is so thin. Their blue line is good, but not great. Hellebuck can't play well on the road. So yeah, give me the Star or the Jets all day.
Dan, what do you think?
Well, I don't want to give Waz an easy prediction, so I'll go with the Winnipeg Jets. For those of us who don't know, Waz predicted that the Dallas Stars would beat the Edmonton Oilers last year in the playoffs. Somehow he worked that into voodoo, but he ended up on Guantanamo Bay in our on our office wall. And so, I'm with Tyler. I'd like to see the Winnipeg Jets. I think I'm still concerned about Connor Hellebuck being a good goalie, but I just know that our offense is going to be able to overcome whatever is put in front of us. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day, but Winnipeg would be my choice.
Rick, who you got?
I don't care.
That was my answer too.
All right.
Look, there's you can build a storyline either way. There's obviously everything that Edmonton and Dallas did from like 97 till 02 or something like that. When you look at the Winnipeg side of things, the Oilers have 5 cups, and I believe all 5 times they had to go through Winnipeg. So there's that. At the end of the day, I really don't care. I don't know if I want that to go 7 though. Is that too much rest for us, and does the team come out a little rusty? And
I think guys are banged up. Give me all the rest we can.
That's fair. I'm not against that. I really don't care, man. There's one thing I want, and it's 35 pounds of silver or something like that. So whoever we got to go to get through them.
Buying silver bars for your house.
Mm-hmm.
Liam, who are you picking?
Dallas. I don't think they're a very good team.
Why?
Then their offense is very overrated. It's basically because Mikko Rantanen having like 3 good games.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden they're the best team in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Their goalie's doing well.
He played really well.
Ottinger and Hellebuck
2
are like the
games ago.
same, though. Everyone wants to pump their tires and tell you they're the best goaltenders in the world. Then you see them out there and play, and they're good. Well, that's it.
I'm sticking with my original bracket for consistency. I have the Oilers on the revenge tour on their way to the Cup, and that means running through Winnipeg.
Revenge for 3 years ago?
Yeah.
Whenever that was. That would have been 4 years ago?
Canadian
way
division,
longer.
not
The
The
bubble.
Canadian division.
Bubble
That's
was Chicago.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, I was like that stupid can of Bud Light seltzer. Hated that guy.
I apologize. I got that mixed
He
up.
had the best seat in the house, though.
Outside that guy right there.
Yeah, Tyler got to celebrate. What was the milestone you saw in an empty arena?
100 points for McDavid that year.
Yeah,
It was weird.
super weird. It's almost like thinking back to those times is like, did that actually happen, or did I just have a fever dream for 24 months?
You think it's weird that there's 5 people in there working, running down the stairs and throwing hats on the ice for that?
I remember Connor being mad about it.
It was stupid. I mean, I see it from both sides. Like I see it from the perspective of OEG and the Oilers and like trying to celebrate it. But I also see it from Connor's side of it. Like, you guys, this is so stupid.
Remember? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. We're in. Yeah. Delicious debate. Who would you rather face? I'd like to hear from you. Hit us up on socials. Dallas or Winnipeg. If you just had a magic wand, just waved ahead to next week. Speaking of next week, Tuesday's likely. Could be Wednesday if this goes 7, right?
I'm starting to think Wednesday might be more likely.
Katy Perry plays
Tuesday
Dallas.
Katy Perry.
Tuesday
Dallas
if it ends on Saturday.
Oh, so that means if it goes 7, we might get Thursday.
Ooh, that's a long break.
7, 8 days.
Full week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Speaking of
if it ends tomorrow, it's Tuesday, no?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, you'd think so.
And then it goes Monday. If it ends on Monday, then it's Thursday, Friday start.
Probably, yeah. Gregor had the report that it might have started Saturday. I'd have a hard time buying that the league would have told the Oilers, because like you always travel the day before the game. If that game last night would have went a certain way, you're telling me the Oilers were on standby to fly to Dallas today to start Saturday before the other series?
You actually meant it was like tomorrow, not next Saturday, but tomorrow?
Like tomorrow.
Yeah, that didn't make any sense.
That really didn't make a ton of sense because the league hates starting a series before the other ones are done.
Yeah, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't. But yeah, bet you it's, I guess if.
Although,
There
never
is
forget, Tyler, shout out to the Flames and Canucks for playing about 4 or 5 games while the playoffs were going to wrap up their regular season.
Canadian division.
I love that. That's good. All right, let's talk about what happened this past week because it was fun for our friends at Oodle Noodle. Kung Pao is the community box all May long, including the long weekend if you want to go for May long. 10% of those will be donated to Sports Central. Let's get some more kids playing sports. Would ya? Go on into Oodle Noodle, grab yourself a Kung Pao. It's delicious. Kung Pao shrimp? Come on. Everybody's having a good time with that. I want to start with the Game 5 win, obviously, and how Kasperi Kapanen, waiver claim from the St. Louis Blues, injected in Game 4, human missile in Game 4, hitting everything that moved, legally or questionably not, goes out and scores the winner. What do you make of Kasperi Kapanen getting in late into the series and then finding a way to win it in overtime?
Peter Klima-esque, sort of, kind of. Wasn't benched, but healthy scratched, kind of same way.
I see the line you're drawing.
Thank you.
Needs a new bucket, though.
Ooh, Klima had a good bucket.
Great bucket.
I don't think those are, they're not regulation, I don't think.
No, that thing's basically just like keeps your hair in place. Liam, what do you think of Kasperi Kapanen?
I thought he did a great job. You could see he was wanting to be impactful right from the get-go in Game 4. I thought it was interesting too that Nalbach basically came out and said we need speed and physicality, and Vegas just didn't know what to do about it, even though he said it in the media, which I thought was funny.
We didn't see this coming.
No, this is crazy.
No one told us they're bringing speed.
So he did a good job, and even like playing somewhat defensively too with Draisaitl and Podkolzin and like that line.
Game 4 was a masterclass by that line.
It was fantastic. So yeah, great decision by Knobloch, which isn't surprising because that's all he's been doing.
The other angle too is like the players must really trust the coach if they can buy into sitting for 9 and being fucking ready to go and they get the chance. Like there's got to be something there where the coach is an effective communicator on the messaging.
If we're handing out flowers like that, you got to look at the GM too, because he's added Klingberg, he added Wallman, he added Kapanen during the season on top of like a roster that was pretty much set when he got here, right? So I know people try to take their swings at Bowman this year. I think he's done a fantastic job.
Kapanen for me, like he came into that game 4 and you could just see like a light bulb moment for him when he threw a couple of checks and got amped up, got excited. And I think that that's exactly what the coaching staff wants out of him. So then they just encourage the heck out of him and he comes out in game 5 and shuts it down for us. So yeah, it's awesome to see. It's nice when guys just come in and play a role and do their job and then get out of there. It's great.
Tyler?
Yeah, I love the physicality. Like those 3 hits first game back, like that was awesome to see. And it shows as well that like the messaging from the coaching staff was also very clear. It's like, hey, speed, physicality, and Kapanen went like, yep, you got it. And he gave the Oilers that. So like the goal aside, he's been a valuable part of the team. And then it's just nice to see him get rewarded on a play where like he needed to take 2-3 whacks at that puck and fight through a couple of golden knights. Like it wasn't just like a little tap in the blue paint. Like he had to work his bag off of that.
He stopped and stayed at the net and kept fighting. There are far too many times we see guys kind of like circle away from the net and the puck is right there and like, had you stopped, you had an opportunity. He stopped and banged away. And
that's what I loved about it is like he stopped, banged away. He was behind the net on his knees when he finally got it to go. And there was 3 golden knights right there in the mix too. And
McNabb was laying flat on his stomach.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good position to be in.
Didn't want anyone to see his tears coming out of his eyes.
It's true.
Because his shoulder was still hurting.
Mm-hmm. Hanging out.
Such a dangerous play.
Hanging out of its socket even.
Yeah.
The other fun thing that happened that night, and this is just like good sports, is Oliver Kapanen scored the game-winning goal for the Laval Rockets that night. And then 3 hours later, his cousin, Kasperi Kapanen, scored the series-winning goal for the Edmonton Oilers. That's just a fun little sports coincidence, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I like that kind of shit.
That was fun.
The other guy we need to talk about, and how could you not? Back-to-back shutouts for our boy Stu. Tyler, you had it on your board, 127 minutes and change of shutout hockey.
And counting.
What'd you make, Stu?
I mean, like the first, this is going to sound dumb as hell. The first shutout, very solid, very impressive. The way he looked in that second one, though, so calm. His movements all seemed like so measured. There was those passes. He stopped Kolasar once, and there was someone else too, where it was like a cross seam pass. And by the time the guy looked up to sort of pick his corner, Stu was already over there, had the whole net covered. Like I just felt like he moved laterally better than he ever had. He moved more composed than he has all season, all playoffs. So that second one, again, as dumb as it sounds, was almost more impressive from the first, just in the sense that it instilled a lot more confidence in Stu Skinner.
There was one shot specifically, I think, of towards the end of the third period where Jack Eichel had the far corner picked. Mm-hmm. And Stu just raises the trap, raises the shoulder, knocks it out. But like that thing was labeled for the top corner. Stu was dialed in. Yeah. And I think, like, to paraphrase what Devin Dubnyk said in Ask Doobie, which check it out, subscribe to the YouTube channel, also on Oilersnation.com. He echoed what you said, kind of, Tyler, and just looked calm in there. Dubnyk essentially said he was a little bit frantic in games 1 and 2 against LA, but he really just quieted it down. Steady.
Well, and I think that the team deserves credit in front of him as well, and that we've talked about that here when people are being super critical of guys like Stuart Skinner and goalies in general, where the team starts to play well in front of you and it just helps your swagger, and you're not feeling that snowball avalanche effect of chance after chance after chance coming at you and grade A opportunities. He gets a couple breakaways in that game and nobody's griping because he's calm, cool, and collected in it, and he's not experiencing it over and over again. So yeah, I'm not like, I don't think it's right to take away from Stuart Skinner here, but I think it's also important to recognize that the team has been playing way better in front of him and pushing the envelope on the other side of the ice too.
And that's why goaltending is completely irrelevant on this team. It's all down to what the guys do in front of them. They don't need a guy back there who's going to steal them wins. They see a guy back there who's going to make a couple of saves every night.
You're not wrong. I mean, that game, though, you couldn't let one in.
He had to be perfect.
Right?
But they always played perfect in front of him, too.
They did. You don't see
And the Golden Knights played really well.
You don't see the bad giveaways at either blue line.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's opportunities, there's a guy in front of the net, and the guy in front of the net is actually situated to block properly. So Chris Pronger broke down. Shoot, I forget whose it was. Maybe Barkov's. Anyways, Pronger, like they asked him how Pronger would help handled a left-handed shot coming down on him, and he said, "I would have stood there and taken away the short side of the net and allowed him to shoot to my far side and leave the goaltender that." Our guys tend to like not situate themselves properly like that. Like if you stand over to his glove side more, now you're blocking his view a little bit more. You're blocking more of the net. You're making it harder for the goaltender to do this. You can simplify your game in our own end to make it easier for a goalie, and I think we have.
But the other thing too is like it's not like they were the two busiest nights for Stu, but he still had to make huge saves.
Mm-hmm.
There were breakaways in Game 4, at least one. There were a couple of odd man rushes. He came up big, and then down to the third period when it was overtime without it actually being overtime, he made a couple of massive saves. But Aiden Hill did too.
Well,
to be fair.
And one of the things that people always complain about with the Oilers goaltenders is you need that one save. And they got it over and over again in Game 5. They got that one save again and again from that guy. And again, it's just, I feel like you're beating a dead horse, but he didn't have the avalanche of needing that one save over and over again.
And a lot of times too, and again, this goes to Dan's point about the players just being better in front of him. There was a lot of one and done shots. It wasn't like he had to do like fly across the net to try and kick out a rebound or, whatever. There was a lot of one and done shots.
I agree with that point. Like there were times in the LA series where it's like, everyone goes, we just need one big save. But it's like, actually, no, there were some big saves.
He makes a save, but then the rebound.
The fourth attempt goes in and it's like, you can't say they're like, we need one big save. And the goalie stopped 2 or 3 in the 2 minutes leading up to it and then gave one up.
People won't understand or won't admit it, but that happened a lot during the season too.
Also, the other thing, and I've been pushing this a lot lately, is if you've been watching a lot of playoff hockey this year, there's weird goals going in all over the place. Literally last night, the series winner for the Hurricanes was horrible.
Yeah, from the half wall.
Tough one to watch.
But again, Logan Thompson didn't see it. It goes in somehow it makes its way through.
It was on his wing too. It's even harder to make that shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The right-handed shot from the right-handed boards.
An awful goal in terms of like the goalie didn't see it, still goes in. And that's how Washington loses after what was a fantastic season. So weird goals are happening all over the place. Going back to Winnipeg and Dallas, I think it was Game 4. Dallas ended up winning, but Andre let in a horrible goal in that game. Well, Hellbuck did too, but
there was the kick. Yeah.
It's always Stu who's the bad one.
Well, that's what I mean. Like just, it happens is I guess the point.
And I don't blame fans of the Oilers for not watching the other teams. That's not like, if
you're going to talk like that, you have to express that.
Yes, that's the thing.
Don't talk like you're an expert if you're only watching
yourself
1/30th of everything that's happening.
And then on Better Late Than Never, I had a voicemail from our boy Dukes that came in that was interesting. Like the other angle too is I find it odd that, if you're being critical of Stu after a bad game, that's one thing. But if you're just waiting to prove yourself right, more so than actually cheering for the team you're supposed to support.
Someone reads there's Twitter.
It's so bizarre. It's like you're cheering against the guy, but you still say you're a fan of that team.
Yeah, they want to be right more than they want to see the team win.
And now is your opportunity.
Negativity coming out.
You just had 2 back-to-back shutouts. Like you could just softly throw it out there. Maybe I wasn't completely right.
Yeah.
But I have done the same thing on Blue Sky. I've checked people's feeds that I know are the typical anti-Stuart Skinners, and it's quiet right now, and I get it. It's hard to look like an idiot sometimes.
Yeah, you just admit you're wrong.
Yeah.
We all are idiots. We have a segment called Ask the Idiot.
Boom, segue. No.
Not quite. Almost. Soon. Obviously, we're waiting to see who the Oilers will play next. Game 6 between the Jets and Stars coming up tomorrow night, which is Saturday. Gotta love a good stress-free sports weekend on deck.
Really, truly, yes. I was going to say, I just said, Oiler fans, I don't blame you for not watching other sports, but right now, enjoy everybody else's struggle and misery. I mean, I guess if you're into that kind of thing.
One thing, just kind of leaning into the Kapanen goal. I think it was Sportsnet Stats put something out. Somebody did, but it's interesting. The Oilers have more depth points this year in 10 games than they had in the last 3 years for the entirety of their runs. So Through 10 games the Oilers have played, they have 59 points from their depth.
So is depth anyone but 97-29 or
anybody outside the first line, essentially?
Okay.
59 points through 10 games. Last year, they had 53 points from the depth in 25 games. The year before that, they had 51 in 12 games, so closer to where we're at this year. 37 in 16 games in 2022. It's a very, very different Edmonton Oilers team this year.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it on Real Life yesterday, but essentially the mission 2 years ago was keep it even at 5-on-5, let the power play burn them. That's how we're going to win.
This is a team built for the playoffs. And now you're seeing why.
We got to talk about the team that's built for the playoffs. How can you, it's hard to ignore that our two free agency bets are both healthy scratches right now.
Shout out Jeff Jackson.
Trying to find the guy who did this.
Could have been anyone.
I think it was Ken Holland.
I think it's great that the depth, they have the pieces like a Kapanen, who's a 20-goal guy. He has scored 20 goals in the NHL, and you can bring him in and slot him in, and he plays them effectively well. Same with Troy Stetcher. Same thing when Ty Eberson came out. But you still essentially have $7.5 million worth of free agents sitting up there.
But I had this take earlier today, like last year. They started to healthy scratch some guys later on in the playoff run, but like there were moments of time where it's like, man, you're getting nothing from Ryan McLeod. You got to keep playing them, right? And then you're getting nothing from Fogle. Corey Perry was gassed. Evander Kane was so hurt. And it's like all these guys weren't giving you anything. And you just like who was next up last year? It was just always Derek Ryan, right? It was like, are you going to put in Derek Ryan? Are you going to put in Derek Ryan, who also wasn't giving you anything?
Mm-hmm.
Versus this year now, it's like, okay, you have Skinner. You can go to him. You have Arvidsson. You can go to him. And like, if Ekholm's back, they go 11-7. Maybe it's Frederick who comes out, or it's Kapanen. Like whoever comes out, like you're going to be sitting there with 3 quality forwards potentially in the press box at one point here. And if someone is on a cold streak and not giving you exactly what you need for the matchup, doesn't matter if you're Victor Arvidsson or Jeff Skinner or anyone like that. Like you will sit, and it's for the betterment of the team. Like this depth they have, it's not 4 good forward lines. It's like almost 5.
Are you going 11-7?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just spitballing ideas.
Oh, you're coach right now. You have to make a decision. Are you going 11-7?
Yes.
Right now?
Yeah.
Or when Ekholm's healthy?
Well, when Ekholm's healthy right now, you're in the coach's chair. You're making the lineup sheet. You're putting the right player in, not his brother in the right spot. Are you going 11-7?
I think so.
Holy moly.
We'll get to more of that in Ask the Idiots.
Interesting.
Do you think that's an evolution of Knobloch's coaching, or just he has more tools available?
He has more tools available. And like, I don't know. Trent Frederick's not giving you a ton right now. I feel like you could probably sit him if you needed to. And with Ekholm, he hasn't played hockey in so long that I'd be nervous about just being like, you're back on the top.
But you're the coach, so you've seen him in practice, and you're saying like he showed me in practice enough that I'm going to put him in. I don't think we're going to put Ekholm in and go, yikes, I don't know what we're getting out of him. I don't think you have to play him at that point yet.
Yeah, and I do think Ekholm's going to be treated like a little break glass in case of emergency kind of thing here. Like if they're up 2-0 coming home from Dallas or from Winnipeg, I don't think you see Ekholm in game 3, even if he's ready. I think they're like, okay, let's just take it easy for a little bit longer. Because I don't think he's ever going to be 100% if he plays.
But we do know Stetcher, as much as I love him, has like a timeline on him, right? He plays like this, and then kind of gets to the end of the line, and you're like, okay, got to yank him for a little bit here, or his game like dips a bit, right? If it didn't,
maybe not.
If it didn't over his career, he'd be a fixture in the top 6. But because you're a 7th guy, it means it goes up and down, and that's fine. That you're still in NHL, you just can't consistently put it all together.
With Stetcher, I think if he's 6'1", he's never coming out of a lineup ever.
His health has always banged him in and out of.
But his play drops too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just who he is. When you're that player, you have hot streaks and cold, and you ebbs and flows, and you got to, as a coach, you got to find the time to put him in and out. And I agree. The same thing when it comes to Kapanen. What we saw to Kapanen in the last 2 games, fantastic. We also know that doesn't last all that forever. We've seen it in the regular season where he's come out and you're like, this is the guy we want. We may put him in the top 6. This is incredible. And then he like loses something and he just skates everywhere. Doesn't do it. And you're like, Kate, now it's time for a quick break. Put someone else in. And I think that's where Arvidsson can come in. Is he hurt, or is he just healthy scratch him, Arvidsson?
Or is it both?
I think it might be
day to day.
I'm sure they did.
I think everyone's day to day.
I think Knobloch kind of said like there's some guys who are going to be game time decisions before game 4. And he was like, we'll wait and see or whatever. Like, I think they're leaving it pretty ominous, but I wouldn't be surprised if Arvidsson was fighting through something and they just kind of went like, that's why you're the guy coming out.
Yeah, that's fine. I was just curious.
Yeah, that's fine. Looking again, just since we mentioned Matthias Ekholm, he's currently listed as, per Chris Knobloch this morning, which is Friday, listed as day-to-day, won't be available for games 1 and 2. Calvin Pickard also will not be available for the first couple of games. But you know what? Stuart Skinner is playing really, really well.
We've gone through this a lot this year in terms of coach talking about injured player and speculating on when he comes back or when they can come back.
Oh, he's lying.
I do not believe that Ekholm will play this series.
I don't think so.
I know they said day to day, but
I don't think he will
we
either.
go back to a handful of times where we've done this. Arvidsson was out for, I think he left the country for 2 months.
6 weeks.
Yeah, like with the Connor and the Leon thing, Frederick was what he was. I don't believe either one of those guys are playing this round.
I was going to just say, I would agree, and even more so about Pickard. They're not.
I think he's got a Rolly type of injury.
Yes, I think he might not.
And we did this with Rolison,
which is
literally game 3. We're like, he's skating, he might play.
Oh, really?
And
wasn't he like skating with?
Yes, he was out there the whole goddamn time.
Yeah.
Every game we thought he might come back. This is Rolison. Oh my god, he might come back. Never worked, but
which is amazing that Pickard was able to finish that game. Really,
it's gonna be adrenaline, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I even wrote that in my post-game wrap-up at Oilersnation.com where I was like, okay, you could tell he was hurt when Hurdle fell on him in the crease or whatever. What's going to happen when the adrenaline slows down and the equipment comes off?
And the Toradol's not there.
And he goes 40,000 feet in the air.
Yeah. But
he made it through the intermission, which I was like, if he comes back, then we're good. If he doesn't come back, then really 2.0. He came back and he moved fine.
He looked like
got up and wasn't like wincing. Like he got up a couple times in the third period where you're like, and then you looked in the overtime and I was like, I think we got away with this.
Maybe he got the jab. I just knew I wasn't coming back. He just knew that was his last.
Would you say he laid it on the line?
Would you?
He was triumphant, that's for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Triumph. Spend that money wisely, boys. Those royalties are pouring in right
cameo. Man, that's $75 worth that for that right there.
Can't. My voice is too tender.
The other thing I want to mention, obviously, we're waiting for round 3 today. Corey Perry, 40th birthday. I feel like he's been turning 40 for about 8 years now, but today is his actual birthday. Also, Jeff Skinner, 33rd birthday today.
Just for the record, the Oilers posted Corey Perry first, Jeff Skinner twice. Or second. First, then second.
We
Would
posted
have been nice if they'd done it twice.
Perry and then forgot about Skinner too. I'm pretty sure. Someone commented.
Sorry, Jeff. Didn't mean to, Jeff. That's our bad. We'll own that one.
Yeah.
Hand up.
His birthday was just healthy scratched.
His career is something else, man.
You look at his hockey DB page, it is the gnarliest thing ever. Over 1,000 NHL games, 30 goals all over the place.
NHL All-Stars, a rookie.
No move.
Finally gets that second. Where's the second column for him?
Well, that's not on this page.
Right?
Yeah, that's right. I thought they put it underneath. But yeah, finally gets something in that right-hand column, and it's one game.
He is also crazy rich.
I'm not.
I know.
I don't feel. I mean, to be fair, you don't
bad for him.
You don't get paid in the playoffs anyway. Yep. So smart on him. Sam Bradfording his way through the world. Yeah. Cool, but that's incredible. That is. I mean. Can you find that with anybody else?
It's amazing. Is there another guy who's played over 1,000 games in one playoff game? Like, it's wild.
It's insane, man.
It's Kirk Cousins. Well, you guys are looking that up. Another couple of items to check off.
He's 39th all time in career earnings in the NHL. And he's played one playoff game.
That's awesome.
That's sick.
What year of the NHL are we in? I understand in the last 20 years. Because even we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah,
in like 99, they were making $9 million a year and things haven't changed that much. That's insane.
Ollie Jokinen played 1,200 games in the NHL and only played 6 playoff games.
Oh, man.
How many games they play?
1,200.
Ooh, so on average, Jeff Skinner's got him by a chunk now.
Yeah.
A couple of furlongs, if you will.
That year, Jokinen played in 6 playoff games, had 5 points.
Wow.
Never saw the playoffs again. That was in 2010. He retired in 2015.
So he went another 5 years without playing in the playoffs.
Yeah. And he started his NHL career in 97.
Why Matt Barnaby called a locker room cancer.
Well, really? That's why he never played again.
Remember trade deadline day. He was just like, he got traded. Olli Jokinen got traded. And then I think it was the Calgary trade. And he just declared him a locker room cancer.
He was another guy who always had the best team photos. Ole Jokinen. Be like, I don't want to see this guy in a dark alley.
Oh God, no.
The other thing I want to mention, Oilers prospect Sam O'Reilly, London Knights, moving on to the Memorial Cup.
Oh, there's two guys there.
Who's the other one?
William Nickel.
Thank you. 7th round pick, I believe. And
Liam Scott
doing very well for a 7th round, but to the point where he was actually playing with O'Reilly for a bit.
Yes. I don't watch junior. I haven't since the Oilers were a lottery team.
Been a while.
Been a minute.
Ron Hainsey, another guy, famously didn't play a playoff game and then went and won the cup with the Penguins. I think he played 900 games.
It's so much hockey to have one playoff game. What did you say? 13th over 33rd overall?
39.
Yeah, 39th.
Awesome.
Did Dick Turnstrom
So
any
good.
of the playoff games?
Finally, Sam Gagner.
With us for like 06. That'd be a whole bunch of games.
Sam Gagner, our boy, finally announced his retirement yesterday. Off to the Senators in a player development role. Wish you well,
luck.
Sam. Wanye, very upset about this yesterday.
Weirdly upset.
Weirdly upset.
Because he's still holding out hope that he might be the captain of the Oilers.
Because they like the storyline and keep the guys in, but we've sat here and gotten angry at the organization every time they did this, any type of 1980s type of Oiler,
Wine
right?
Assignment Club. Club.
Don't forget how many people were like nepotism and Red Wine Club when Paul Coffey got his job here. Paul Coffey's been fucking fantastic.
Keith Gretzky.
Love a good red wine summit. Red wine lifestyle.
That was a hell of a time.
And what was that? What was your wine thing called?
My wine skin.
Yeah, the wine skin. That's right.
Yeah, I still have that. Yeah, Google a wine skin. One time we did a bus trip down to Calgary, popped a quick bottle in there, kept her good and warm too.
Nice and close to the body.
Yeah, keep that body heat in there.
Good and warm, that red wine, and by the end of the night, we're all red teethed drinking out of this
under.
thing.
That was just you, just under a gentle boil. This is when we were leaving the bar to go to get on the bus, and BM disappears straight up. No one has any idea where he is. He's sitting at the bar because he ran into another buddy of his or something like that. But this is what I'm telling you. BM, especially on the Calgary trips, like we go to nation vacations. There's 48, 72 hours. You got to pick and choose your spots. Calgary is 24 hours go.
Yeah.
And this guy gets himself to a 9.7 at about 3:00 in the afternoon on Saturday and rolls that till 3:00 in the morning, 3:00 in the morning till we're at Singapore Sam's dancing on the tables. It's honestly, it's something you'll never ever see before.
Everybody's got a superpower, and that just happens to be
incredible. 3:15, you're like, ooh, that guy's not going to last. 8:15, he's walking around the Saddle Dome there in like the rich people area. He's dropping some Australian words, and then he makes his way back up. Next thing you know, we're at a bar at 11:30, and we're at Singapore Sands by 1:45. This guy's in the exact same condition. Makes no sense to me.
I like to get going.
You do.
Off the line. 0 to 60, and then maintain.
Rasmus Ristolainen
500. They just pin it
sitting at 776 games right now.
You basically got
zero playoff games.
You basically got to go through guys who were like either on the Sabres or on those old Panthers teams. And like
he's 30 years old though, so he's got another.
Because the wild thing too is
6 years.
Skinner was also a Hurricane while they were awful.
Yeah.
And I guess Ristolainen went Buffalo, then Philly, and Jokinen would have gone
everywhere. Don't even try.
He was on Florida.
Yeah,
and then
Calgary, Florida. I think there's Toronto, there's Winnipeg, there's Phoenix.
At the end,
who traded for Gergensons this year?
Like everybody except
who
for
got
us.
Yeah.
Okay, so he did get the playoffs then.
He played last year too.
Other thing I want to talk about is just how could we not talk about what happened in Toronto, Game 5?
Can we talk
Don't matter until what happens tonight.
Everyone just giving up on them more than what?
Go ahead. What are you thinking?
I think it's pathetic. The series is not over. They're only down 3-2, and they just have to win once on a row, then they're back at home.
I just hope that I never reach that much level of losing as a fan that I just become like deflated. Like we literally have been in this twice in my lifetime as an Oilers fan, where we were down in a Stanley Cup Finals 3-1 and 3-0.
But they weren't just down; they were up 2-0, and then they shit the bed to 3 in a row. Okay, and then that third one at home in front of everybody, where your team plays like absolute trash.
Like all of us, I think, have been to a fair chunk of playoff games over the years. You know what I mean? I've never seen a crowd half the crowd leave in the third period.
It's crazy.
While the other half just stayed to boo. Like I've been to Oilers losses in the playoffs that have been painful, but nothing like that.
I like jerseys on the ice when you're only down 3-2 in a series is crazy.
Insane.
I just saw a clip from Sportsnet of one of the hosts being like, Brendan Shanahan is the worst sports executive of the last decade. And I'm like, again,
Holy moly.
only down 3-2. Like season not done. But that's like, and that's why I'm so torn, because I'm like, kind of want to root for the Leafs to win, because it would be very, very funny to see all those fans get right back on board and have to pretend like they didn't just totally write off their team for the last 48 hours. But also, I don't want those fans to have any happiness if they're gonna act like this.
I agree.
Like, I'm not a Leafs hater by any means. I think it'd be actually kind of cool to see like an extended run in Toronto, but like, God damn it, they're so fickle. It's embarrassing.
Well, again, I'm going back to the point you've made a couple of times, Tyler, where they've never done the lovable losers thing.
No,
Ever.
and this is why. Their fan base does not come off in a way where you're like, God, you feel for them. Because they're just like, they lose 2 games and they're like, fucking trade everybody.
And then when
they're
the
up
smiley kid, frowny kid, it was like with his sister, and I take that one stupid ass picture. They had the camera. That guy I kind of feel for, because that guy was like, I hate this. Photo of the sister. And that he's a young guy. But yeah, there's just too many of them. They always assume they're the best. They talk down to everybody. It's just, you bring on the hate of your fan base on your own.
Like when they were up 3-0 against Ottawa, it's like, plan the parade, done.
Dude, they're fighting with their own players.
Yeah.
Their players dislike the fan base.
Oh, yeah.
We're through already, right? We're through our division. They're around. This is hilarious to watch.
It's
We got
wild,
through our
man.
division as well.
Yeah,
I'm
that's it.
fascinated to know, like, we're going to talk about more about that game 6 in the betting segment, but I'm fascinated because going into Amerant Bank Arena to win that game and stay alive is not going to be easy.
Florida has a 650 something win percentage on home ice the last 3
Bob's
playoffs.
back to being playoff Bob.
Yep.
Joseph Woll got lit up, though. A lot of that was the problems in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting to see how game 6 plays out, but we'll get more to that in the betting segment.
Stay alive, Steve. Stay alive. Dangle, that is.
Oh, man.
Oh, man, I don't know how that guy does it.
If you
Live
like,
streaming.
Like how you keep up that, I don't know, shtick, like whatever. How you keep that up for so many years when at every turn you get kicked in the junk is crazy.
Like the overreaction to that. That's just natural, though. That's just being angry and yelling at the screen.
for sure.
That I completely understand.
like, go to the SDPN account and just check out Steve's reactions from game 5, because the funniest one was when they scored to make it 6-1. He goes, finally, we're in the game. Only down 5.
For Roberts.
It's funny. He was melting down.
Yeah.
Let's talk some betting. Let's continue on with the Leafs Panthers talk. Want to get in on the action? Stanley Cup playoffs. Bet365, they've got you from game props, player props, totals, and the money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever your bet, it's never ordinary. Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Please be 19 years old or older and play responsibly. Got to update the Stanley Cup odds, boys. We're going to keep following this along.
275 was our last one.
275 was the last one as of this morning or I guess just about an hour ago when I was prepping this. Oilers are at 225 now to be the Stanley Cup champs. Carolina Hurricanes up next at plus 290. Panthers at plus 300. Stars at 325. And then we have a cliff. It goes to the Jets at plus 2200 and the Leafs at plus 2500 to round out the remaining teams. What do you get in? I'm at plus 900 on the Oilers for a cup win.
All I have is that one parlay of them in the Bills. I don't have another futures bet.
I got them at plus 950.
Nice. So plus 225 as we're talking today. The betting markets are starting to believe in our Oily boys.
I think there'll be a chance to nab them on some good money lines. Also, I feel like just betting Connor McDavid to win the Conn Smythe is also a smart play. I feel like if they're going to do this thing, it's going to be him again.
What do you guys do on for game 5?
Bets wise?
Yeah.
Put a whole bunch of McDavid 2+ points, and I bet Kasperi Kapanen first goal scorer.
That one is, I've done first goal score bets 50 times. Not even close ever. You've hit 3 or 4 this season.
Yeah, I have. For me, like the Kapanen one I looked at, and granted, I do it every game. Like when Amber and I watch together, it's a fun little thing. Like we each pick someone to score first, put $5 on it. But Kapanen, it's like he's 40-1 and he plays with Leon Draisaitl. Like I actually wanted to put goals and they didn't have him on the board that day. But like 40-1 for a guy who's in your top 6 to score first. He's got a better than 40-1 shot at scoring that goal.
Absolutely. For my strategy, I just kind of did 2 big bets. One was Oilers were dogs on the money line, so I hammered that. That was the big bet, just manifesting the win. A little sprinkle on puck line because I'm selfish. So obviously that one didn't hit, but the money line carried me over, came out ahead. Liam or Rick, did you guys do anything for Game 5?
No. I put some money down on the Celtics next game. I followed a certain someone that I've told you guys about to follow on the internet. And the fourth quarter, they were up by 14. The Celtics were up by 14, and my guy was still 6 points off his number. So I took my cash out. And then I realized I left about $400 on the table by taking that cash out. But I'm okay.
Hey, bird in the hand.
I made another one yesterday. That very good.
This guy?
Yep, that's the one.
This reminds me of when we were on the nation vacation to Denver and we cashed out our yards bet. I don't remember who that receiver was.
Oh, but we had to call Amber back home to be like, cash it out.
Oh yeah, that was
Jerry Judy.
It might have been Jerry Judy. Yeah,
son. Both of them had crazy games.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. I'll just keep saying, yeah, it was that guy. No, it was that guy.
Could have been anybody, really. All we know, bird in the hand. Let's do a little betting. So tonight we got Leafs Panthers. Panthers minus 240 on the money line. Betting public not really giving the Leafs much love. Leafs plus 195 on the money line. Over under set at 5.5. Over that is minus 115. Under it is minus 105. If you want to do Panthers puck line, that is plus 115, which is nowhere near juicy enough for me on a puck line.
No, I can't believe the odds. Like, even if you believe in Florida, I feel like this is one of those wait till the end of the first period when it's like 0-0 and you'll just get a better price.
0-0 or like 3-2 and you're trying for, because is this going to be like Game 4 of the Oilers? Is this going to be like Game 5 of the Oilers?
Yeah, that's fair.
Right? Either one to be like, yeah, I saw that coming.
You got to think like, unless they're completely down and out, that the Leafs are going to play better today. You would think.
They have no choice.
Dude, they were on their home ice.
Listen, I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Yeah.
This is just one of those teams where it's I don't know, man. I didn't want to play them in the final. I'm just I would not put a penny on these guys. I have no idea which version's coming out.
I was a little bit paraphrasing from yesterday, the sheet with Jeff Merrick. He was talking about there's a difference between being a team and a club. And the Leafs are not a team. They're a group of dudes that hang out. Oilers are a team.
Yeah, like, I mean, listen, if there were some of those efforts, like Connor and Leon just wouldn't stand for that shit.
No.
I really thought the Leafs added the right pieces this year, but maybe just not enough. And I think at this point, I think some of their big guys are at the detriment of the team.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think you've now tried every combination of things. You've done add a bunch of skill. Okay, let's bolster the blue line. Okay, let's solve our goaltending. Okay, let's add toughness. Okay, I
don't know if they ever felt you solve their goaltending, but I agree with you.
Both those guys were so good.
You're not going to tell me you think Anthony Stolarz as a goaltender is going to lead you to get the Stanley Cup.
Look at his numbers the last couple seasons.
But if at the beginning of the season, you're not going to sit there and say,
no, but like they went and got a goalie.
But if you go get if we went and got a goaltender like an Anthony Stolarz, we wouldn't feel very like we took a very big step in our goaltending.
We did.
Pickard?
We acquired Anthony Stolarz once.
Yep.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. But we didn't feel like we just
like they made a bet on him and he delivered very nicely. The bet
through the season, 100%.
Yeah. Then he got hurt.
It's still not a guy like. Do you think if the Stolarz was playing, if he was healthy right now, that this series would be in a different place?
No, because Wolves also played great.
Yeah,
but that's what I mean. Like goaltending's not the problem, even though they went and got 2 good goalies.
Yeah.
Finally, just to wrap up the betting segment, tomorrow night, at least these are the early lines for Game 6. Jets at Stars. Jets are currently the dogs on the money line. They have yet to win a road game in the playoffs. Just throwing that out there.
And they're 6-1 at home.
Plus 130 on the money line. The Stars are minus 155 on the money line. Over under is set at 5.5. Minus 110 on both sides of that. And the Stars are plus 170 on the puck line.
Plus 170 on the puck line?
That's right.
And minus 130 on the money line?
Minus 155.
That is a massive gap.
It's a healthy gap.
That is, take Dallas on the puck line all day long.
Line, a little sprinkle, maybe.
Holy moly.
A little sprinkle, maybe. If you're feeling frisky. There you have it.
Is the lady going to be behind the bench?
Probably.
Oh, Glassbanger guy's almost out of jail.
Finally.
Yeah, I believe what I read was that if the Stars make the conference final, Glassbanger guy is out of jail sometime in May.
I think the 25th.
Okay,
I think they're
25th?
talking about that on Chicklets or something.
Okay, yeah.
I saw that clip.
Again,
Good, bring him back.
another
team again.
Another reason to want Winnipeg. Glassbanger guy could make Dallas a team of destiny. He's out of the clink.
Remember the fun fact though? Do you know who is going to the games with the lady behind the bench?
Glassbanger guy's dad?
Nope.
Oh.
Edmonton Oilers legend.
Al Shamsky?
Mark
Nope.
Fistrick?
Gladys
Nope.
Smeed.
Oh,
He had a bit of a concussion problem,
Andrew Ferentz.
but his brother was pretty good for us.
What kind of run of clues is
Is
this?
it Comrie? Really, Paul?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good for him.
Well, there you go. Want to get in on the action of the Stanley Cup playoffs at Bet365? They got you from game props, player props, totals, and money line. You can even bet on futures like series winners, conference champions, and Stanley Cup champions, and much, much more. Whatever you bet, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game. Official partner of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Must be 19 years old or older. Please bet responsibly. Do me a favor. Join us at Greta. Round 3. It was electric in there for game 5.
Mm-hmm.
It was tense. It was fun. The place was alive. Aaron did a great job hosting. Join us for the 3rd round at Greta for the game day viewing parties. Ask the idiots, gentlemen. I got 4 for you today. We're going to rip through these. Tyler, I'm going to start with you on this first one.
Yep.
Comes in from Jason. What do you think it's going to take for Jeff Skinner to get back in the lineup?
holy fuck.
2 to 3 injuries. I mean, like, come on. They're obviously going to play Arvidsson. No, I shouldn't say that. 1 injury. 2 injuries. It's 2 injuries. Because Arvidsson obviously goes in on the first injury, and then a second injury would force their hand. That is what it would take. Or they're down like 3-0 and they've been getting shut out in games.
My answer is just injuries. Dan?
I think you're going to probably see him here at some point. Just like you saw Kapanen come in, they'll just find a spot where he can slide in properly. It's going to take something to happen, whether it's an injury or a faltering. But yeah, I think you're still going to see him play.
Rick, what do you got?
Injuries, and I don't see it.
Liam?
I'm the same.
Reversing the order.
This isn't a regular season anymore.
No,
We're trying to win games.
They're not just gift wrapping guys up.
We're here to win the Stanley Cup. I'm not here to worry about your hockey
Again,
DB page.
maybe to Dan's, like, Kapanen came in when Knobloch was like pounding the table, being like speed, physicality.
What does Jeff Skinner bring to you? That
goal scoring. So again, like, if you get shut out twice by Jake Ottinger and you're down 2-0 coming home, maybe. But even then, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Reversing the order. Liam, you're up first.
All right.
What was the most surprising or impressive aspect of the Oilers season win or series win, over the Vegas Golden Knights? That one comes in from Cliff.
Surprising
or just impressive?
The fact they shut him out back-to-back games and won a game 1-0 in overtime.
I clearly predicted that ahead of time.
You would have predicted that?
I'm just...
Yeah, I think that'd be mine.
Rick, what do you got?
That they were just the better team, and the only reason they went 5 is because they got a lucky goal off Leon's stick.
Dan?
I was going to say Liam's answer straight up, but I'll say that Aiden Hill was as flappable as he was.
Tyler?
I mean, just their system limiting chances. Vegas, how many times did Vegas have a shot from the middle of the ice, from the home plate area?
Rarely.
Barbashev's breakaway, I think, was maybe the only one. And that one, he was even kind of off to the side a bit. So I'll just say their ability to keep Vegas to the outside.
I will go with Chris Knobloch's ability to do quick adjustments to counter Vegas's tactics. I thought that was super impressive. I mean, like, they played not their style compared to LA wasn't close. And I thought Chris Knobloch and the coaching staff as a whole did a good job of adapting to that. Super impressive. Jumping in the middle to Dan, you're up. Watching some of the other series, this one comes in from Blake. Watching some of the other series, the officiating seems to be consistently bad across the NHL. Is this a solvable problem, or does the NHL truly not care about how mediocre these guys are? If you think it's fixable, how could you fix the refereeing problem?
I feel like I say this all the time. It's absolutely a fixable problem. It is a problem everywhere. Every single arena, you have 2 and 3 times in a night where the fans are serenading the referees with "ref, you suck." But it's a
classic sports jam.
Yeah, I just think that the fixable way, there's a bunch of them. We've listed them out here before. Having a press conference afterwards where you have to answer to a couple of reporters, just kind of helping you keep in line, keep in check. creating more systems where the video replay helps the referees, not so much checking the referees' calls, and they could refer to the video review to be able to help them out. But yeah, I think that there's just a bunch of different ways that they can do it. So my answer is, I do think the NHL is okay with it.
Oh, they're definitely okay with it. Gary says best ever. Rick, how can we fix this?
I've said before, I think you need to set up like a Hockey Canada, but you do a refereeing for North America thing, and you start them at a very young age and you bring them up in your system the whole way. What they're doing right now is just taking old hockey players, guys who can skate, and giving them a red band on their arm and a whistle and telling them to go ref. Like, you need to start early and you need to work your way up. Let them do that. Set up a system all through North America, support it, and you'll be better. But that's going to take a long ass time to do.
Liam, what do you got?
I've always been on the technology side of things. I think that could be helpful. I don't know. I don't really have much else to add outside of that. I just think they do a bad job, but sometimes I think it is difficult to see things. Like last night, Jamie Benn get punches Shifley in the face and Winnipeg end up on the penalty kill.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was dumb. Like,
almost as bad as Kane.
That was going to be my cold performer, was Jamie Benn's cheap shot. And then somehow the refs deemed the sucker punch so bad that he gets a 10-minute misconduct. But then the Stars get a power play because, come on. I lost Jamie Benn for the rest of the game.
How do you fix it?
I would like the idea of some sort of like the NBA used to or still does the 2-minute report, where like when there's missed calls, there's a report that comes out being like, hey, at the 4-minute mark of the second period, there was a missed high stick. We hand up. We know it happened. And I think just maybe even embarrassing the officials a little bit would get rid of some of the game management where like, okay, maybe they're not going to turn the other way when there's a high stick, but the power plays are 4-1 and that team's already losing 3-0. Like, what are you going to do? Maybe they would stop doing that if it was like, no, I have to call that. Otherwise, I know that one's going in the 2-minute report.
You're held accountable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. The other thing I would just say is like, call the fucking rule book.
That's a good one.
There's things where you're going to miss it. Hockey moves at 1,000,000 miles an hour. I get that. But if you have your referees and your officials committed to calling the rules by which the game is supposed to be governed, I think a lot of this shit goes away.
I just think that like all these referees do it to themselves anyways. Like they check each other in the intermissions, and it's just weird that they can't feel like they have to be omnipotent to the rest of us, and they can't answer.
If they're watching their stuff, and I have no idea what they do in the intermissions.
No, I think that they are. I mean, like you see the coaches talk to them right before they head off the ice. They go into that referee room. It's not like they're just sitting there on their hands for 20 minutes and doing and saying nothing to each other. Like I think
17 minutes.
I think that they may talk to each other, and I think that they may even look at social media and see the clips and stuff that they missed.
Playing Angry Birds, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Or he's like Liam bops to every game app he has on his phone.
Just a quick little game of Madden. 15 minute.
Oh, you could do a quick road to the Masters in the intermission.
Quick 18.
Mm-hmm. Quick 18. Final question. Tyler, back to you. Assuming the Oilers get the Stars in round 3, how, if at all, do you see this series being different? Not necessarily the result, but just the games on the ice.
Than last year when we played them?
You betcha.
I think you're going to be you'll see an Oilers team that is just better prepared to dominate hockey games. Not that they didn't do that last year, but the depth on this team is different. The depth on Dallas is a lot different, and both those moved in directions which are good for Edmonton. So yeah, I mean, obviously Dallas has a new star player, and that's certainly worth noting in all of this. So it's almost like the roles are reversed a little bit, where all of a sudden it's Edmonton who's big and deep, and it's Dallas who is sitting there going, we better hope our Stars can carry us.
Dan, what do you got?
Yeah, last year Dallas had Tanev as their rental, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so like they had focused on something different.
Now they got Cece.
I really do think that this Edmonton Oilers team is just infinitely better than the one last year, and is clicking at a cylinder that Dallas will not be able to keep up with. So,
Tyler, I want to come back to your depth thing real quick after. Rick, what do you think? What's the difference?
We're a little bit better. They're a little bit worse, but at the end of the day, it's not a massive difference.
Liam?
It'll be a shorter series.
Oh,
that'll be the difference.
Wowzers.
Oilers are way better than Dallas. Dallas have one player.
I think it'll be different because the thing that sticks out to me is, again, the numbers we read a little bit earlier on the podcast. The depth is so much better on the Oilers that anybody who even tries to utter the phrase two-man team just looks like an idiot. Because again, game 4 and 5, Connor had 1 point in game 4. Leon had 1 point in game 5. The depth carried him through.
Shout out to Leon. Factored into all 3 OT winners in these playoffs and has factored into 4 of the 8 game winners in these playoffs.
Also, shout out to Leon for his quote after game 4, and I don't have it in front of me, so I'm just going to paraphrase. Essentially, he's just talked about, look, I will sacrifice offense all day long if this team wins. That's maturity as a player.
All right, Miko.
Leadership.
Get your team through the next game, and then you got a date with Leon for 4 to 5 games.
I want to go back to your comment, though, Tyler, about the depth going in opposite directions. What do you mean from the Stars angle?
The Stars angle. I think I shared these numbers, obviously, on my show a couple of times now. But the numbers when Roope Hintz and Miro Heiskanen are on the ice versus when neither of them are on the ice are absolutely staggering. So I'll pull them up here really quick. Rantanen and Roope. So with both of those guys on the ice, Dallas is outscoring the other team 11-4 at 5-on-5. So they're +7. With both of those guys off the ice, it's 17-8 for the other team. +7, -9. That's a 16-goal swing when one of Rantanen or Hintz are on the ice, or both of them, versus when both of them are off. Crazy.
Wild number. We'll see what happens. Game 6, Jets and Stars tomorrow night in Dallas. Let's wrap up the podcast here, fellas. We got hot and cold performers, and this is presented by Tyler. Tyler paid for this segment. Very generous of him.
Hard-earned money.
So we're going to start off with our veggies as we always do. Tyler, you're up first. Cold performer of the week.
I was going to do the Jamie Benn punch because I think punching a guy when the linesman is holding him is just like an all-time scummy move. But I'll say the Stuart Skinner haters. Everyone who wrote off our number one goalie, the local boy, everyone who wrote him off, I hope you enjoyed the 2 shutout victories just a little less than everyone else who believed in Stu the whole time.
Oh, that's cold.
Just a little bit, though.
Nation Dan, you're up. Cold performer of the week.
I have Stuart Skinner haters with crickets next to it written down as
Play
my
the crickets noise.
as
we
my
have that one.
cold performer.
Yep.
There we go.
You get my
quiet.
cold performer of the week.
Very quiet out there. When is this button stop? Rick, you're up. Cold performer of the week.
Billboard Wars. I thought they were kind of dumb and silly. They weren't even clever and funny.
What the hell is going on?
You're down in the series and you started yapping. And then the clapbacks or whatever were just as dumb.
Cringy.
Yes, thank you.
I thought it was fun. Like, executed well, no. But generally the trolling and the back and forth between cities.
You put some spice in it then. Don't make this G-rated.
You know what else I want?
Have a little fun with it. Show the pictures or something.
We've talked about this a million times, but you know what I want sitting out front of Rogers' place? I want a car that I can pay $5 to hammer with a sledgehammer.
It's fair.
Bring that back. Old radio shit.
Power 92. We're looking at you.
Tyler, you still got the keys for the hearse from hell?
I think they had to retire that for safety reasons. They made me drive it a bunch when I worked there. And then as soon as I left, they're like, you know what? Someone could die. And it's like, yeah, probably.
Liam, cold for the week.
Cold form of the week. 2 cats come into my yard yesterday. 2 different cats.
Did they fuck with the rabbit?
And now my rabbit Thumper was back today, so that was good. And I threw my flip-flop at them both. And I hit 1.
Why don't you like the cats?
Yeah, what the cats do.
I just don't like cats and I want them to piss in my yard. So
I feed the neighborhood cat.
well,
That's how you keep mice out. You got to get in good with the neighborhood cat.
I was like, hey, I got a rabbit.
There's a guy who lives in my complex who's feeding the neighborhood crows.
Oh, he sucks.
So now we've got a murder of crows that
that's not good.
They chill out near my house. So knowing how smart crows are, I'm trying to just say hi to them all. Hey,
As you have to.
I have no qualms with you, crows.
Amber had beef with the crows at our old apartment and they'd swoop at her on walks because they hated her so much.
Yeah. You got to be nice to the crows, man. They'll remember you forever.
I was just out having a puff on Saturday morning and watched one owl versus a murder of crows.
Ooh.
It was a heck of a spectacle. Had to get the dogs inside. There was fluff flying everywhere.
I love when I get a good bird beef in my backyard and there's like a blue jay fighting a raven and you're like, oh hell yeah.
I was walking Frank the other day and I was in the park and I saw a seagull versus crow fight. There was fries on the ground. So, the seagull's not going to give up those fries without a bound.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's their whole thing.
That is their thing. Whoever introduced them to fries in the first place.
You know what I mean? The first seagull to have a French fry, you're like, No one's going to believe how fucking good these are.
Wait till I tell my friends about this.
He brings up, boys, check this out.
We've been ignoring these. They fucking slap.
Now they're just at McDonald's everywhere.
Yeah.
My cold performer of the week is I love the time off, but I miss the Oilers. I miss you.
I'd love a game tomorrow.
I would love a game tomorrow.
I'm okay with it because I know they're coming back.
I know they're coming back, but like I miss them.
Are you thrilled? No, I'm not.
I miss you.
That feeling inside.
The game day stress and doing your thing. And like, I'm not a superstitious person, but when I went and saw me and Jay went and saw you the other day, you were like talking like, all right, t-shirt change. I'm like,
T-shirt change with 5 chicken fingers for the 5 Stanley Cups. And
sounds fun.
It keeps going.
I love that.
One time I said chicken fingers at a restaurant and the waitress laughed at me and said, "You mean chicken strips?" I've never felt like more of a child in my life.
Well, you could have said fingies.
Yeah, I was going to say at that point, just say tendies.
I was like, everyone calls them chicken fingers. Do not mock me, waitress, and bring them out with the plum sauce. Come on.
Also, secondary cold performer of the week, our intern Peyton getting a ban from the Moss Pit for quote unquote allegedly sneaking in alcohol, despite the fact he does not drink.
Mm-hmm.
Insane. Also, Rogers, there's 2-3 other influencers who are in the building doing interviews for their channels. Where's the beef? No beef there? No, just us.
You really want to watch the drinkers? I don't think you're paying attention to the drinkers. How many fights we got going on there? Those aren't sober fights. You're over serving people already. Maybe keep it to yourself, people.
We should report them.
And just be honest. Like if you came and said you guys are making content, whatever, like you can't be here, at least we could have respected that. Or like pivoted,
lying.
But this thing where they're like, we got you on camera,
petty bullshit.
Booze in.
Then show me the video.
Yeah.
You got the video? Show me the video.
Show us the video. So that also implies that you're scanning 5,000 people one by one.
Show me the video.
2, he walked through a scanner. What are these scanners for?
Are you telling me that your scanners, the new scanners, are that bad?
No, he snuck the booze in a sandwich bag. Obviously,
it was
like
one of those
like a Capri Sun.
Drones dropped it down, and he's so tall, he just jumped up. He left and grabbed it.
Insane.
Yep.
I think you should move the Moss Pit back inside to Ford Hall.
I don't think that's a good idea. Remember how wobbly it was?
There's still cracks. They remain.
So secondary cold performance.
Scars certainly.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
I remember I was walking out of Rogers' place that year with Uncle Kerry. And I don't know a lot about a lot of things, but Uncle Kerry knows a bunch. And I go, "You think the floor is supposed to move like this?" He goes, "Absolutely not." All right. Let's end it off with the positive. Gentlemen, reversing the order. Liam, you're up. Hot Performer of the week.
My hot performer of the week goes to Arjun Atwal, who is named a Willie O'Ree finalist. He's a former captain of the Sherwood Park Crusaders, and he lives here in Edmonton. So if you got the chance, go vote for him. That would be awesome.
He's a hot guy.
Rick, you're up. Hot Performer of the week.
Fuck the haters. It's all about Stu.
Amen, brother.
Pour it on.
Dan, you're up.
Well, it took 62 games, but the NHL playoffs finally got their first hockey fight. And so Nick Hague and Trent Frederic, for keeping me employed gainfully at hockeyfights.com, you get my hot performer of the week.
Feeling hot, hot, hot. Feeling hot, hot, hot.
Tyler, you're up.
You were expressly told by management, if there's not one in the second round,
you were done.
It's the sword of Damocles of hockey fights every year.
Sending out DMs to all sorts of players.
I've been trying.
Please fight. I'm just trying to put food on the table.
Yep.
Pictures of your kids, you're like, they haven't eaten. It's on you, Evander. My hot performer is Charles Barkley. He's a big Oilers fan. He was on the NBA on TNT. Didn't give a shit about his actual job. He was rooting for the Oilers. And I also had some sympathy for Ernie, the host, who was like, "Okay, we can talk about that later. Let's talk about the basketball." And I was like, "Ernie, I feel that. I feel that. Getting guys to stay on the rails sometimes is tough." But,
she's going to hate that I'm going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway because it's funny. Me missus, she goes, "Did you see that rapper who was an Oilers fan that was excited?" I'm like, "Rapper?" So I'm like,
Shaq. Shaq's the rapper.
So I'm like thinking, I'm like, who's she talking about? She shows me the video. I'm like, do you think Charles Barkley was a rapper?
Or is?
Flavor Flav.
Was he not?
No, I don't.
Arguably one of the better power forward type NBA players in the 90s, but whatever. Don't tell her I said that.
To be fair, I think he's been on TV more as a broadcaster than he was as a player.
Again, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. That panel, best in sports.
Yes.
They are so good at what they do. They're so funny. My hot performer of the week, though, is going to our old friend, Uncle Ken Holland, who got a job as the general manager of the Los Angeles Kings. And one of his first orders of business was to tell everyone that Jim Hiller should be back. And he will be back. I think that's great. Hot performer, Uncle Ken. Secondary, Jim Hiller. You're both great.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not.
Oh, Kenny.
Another year of the Kings sitting back on leads, stacking them up at the blue line.
Gavrikov's up for an extension.
That's an 8x9 from Uncle Ken right there. Come on.
Give him that Darnell money.
You can't let a guy like that walk for anything less by an 8x9.
No.
I'm fascinated to see what Ken Holland does there.
I just don't really get it. It just seems very safe for a team that has been too safe.
Seems super boring.
Yeah.
Boring.
I love it. Good for them.
When did Rob Blake get that job initially?
9 years ago?
8, 9 years ago, yeah.
8, 9 years ago?
Never won a playoff round.
Awesome.
Thanks, Edmonton.
That's so good. Shout out to the Los Angeles Kings. You're great. There we go. Well, we always end up with the score prediction, so we might as well do one for the Leafs, no? Mm-hmm. Tyler, what's your guess?
Leafs win 5-4.
Dan?
Leafs win 4-0.
5-3 Toronto.
I think they'll win 3-2 in overtime.
I'm going to go 5-3
because they got their secret weapon. It's just Vladdy and Leafs gear. Hockey equipment.
I'm going to go 5-3 Panthers with an empty netter. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll be back for the third round next week.
What's up, Nation citizens? If you like that video, then you need to be subscribed to the Oilers Nation YouTube. Podcasts, live shows, exclusive interviews, and analysis. Everything you need from your favorite voices at Oilers Nation. And you don't want to miss any of it, so hammer that subscribe button.